When it comes to surveys, we all want to gather honest and accurate feedback. Survey anonymity is a great way to achieve that. Now, not all surveys need to be anonymous, but those that do, you have to make sure that when you're working with anonymity, you can preserve it. In other words, create an environment where respondents know they will not be judged, and most importantly, there will be no retribution. That's why survey anonymity is a great tool when working with sensitive topics or sensitive populations. When it comes to survey anonymity, there are several factors that you need to consider. First one, the survey type. Second, how you share your survey with respondents. Third, the data that you're going to be working with. And finally, how you set up reports and share them. In this video, we're going to break down some practical tips to help you ensure anonymity in your survey projects. The decision to make your survey anonymous depends on the context and the goals of your survey project. As a general rule, customer surveys tend to not be anonymous, and that's because you as a business want to be able to follow up, especially on negative feedback. Whereas employee surveys tend to be anonymous, and that's because employees should not have any fear of retribution were they to give you negative but yet honest feedback. So in this video, we're going to be focusing on employee surveys. However, it's very important to note that the same principles can be transferred to similar audiences. For example, volunteers. When it comes to sharing your survey, you might think that the survey link is the easiest option, and it is. But when it comes to employee surveys, it's not optimal. And that's because you can't ensure that people don't answer a survey link multiple times, which means that you will end up with data that's not reliable on the other end. On top of that, you can't really target people that haven't answered or haven't completed your survey with reminders. That means that you'll write everyone and then you'll spam everyone, and you see, that doesn't really work. That's where Enalyzer comes in. So with Enalyzer, you can send email invitations and still keep your survey anonymous. What does that mean? That means that when you download your data and when you're working with your data, you're not able to trace the answers to the individual respondent. But you can still manage respondents. That means you can delete responses, you can send reminders, you can add new respondents, you can resend invitations, and more. To ensure complete anonymity in your survey, be intentional about the personal data that you collect and upload into Enalyzer. This refers to demographic or organizational data of your employees. For example, department, manager, start date, etc. When you're working with too many data points, especially if you don't need them, you could easily compromise the anonymity of your survey. For example, let's say you have a team of 10 people and they're equally divided between men and women. If you have one man, 35 years old, that has been working there for less than a year, you could quickly identify who it is. To avoid this, I recommend that you work with group-based options. So if we take age, for example, instead of working with birth date or a specific number, you can work with groups such as 35 to 45, 45 to 55, etc. This way, you still have data and valuable data that you can use in your analysis, but still protecting the anonymity of your employees. Anonymity goes beyond your surveys. You also have to think about it in your reports. In Enalyzer, we have a setting for reports called anonymity level. We recommend that you set that to 4, which means that data will be shown in your reports if there are 5 or more completed responses. We have found that that is the magic number to ensure privacy and confidentiality for your respondents. Apart from anonymity level, you should also think about anonymity conflict. Now, let's say you have a department with 11 people and it's divided in 2 teams with 5 people each. And the last person in the department has a support function. When you create reports for the manager, if there are 3 reports, one for the entire department and one for each team, by subtracting a couple of numbers, the manager can easily find the person in the support function. Last but not least, be transparent with your respondents. Let them know about the anonymity in your survey and also how you're handling their data. Remember, with Enalyzer, you can conduct anonymous surveys without compromising the privacy of your respondents.